SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Diode and their associate sponsors. Welcome particularly to Zwartkops, the arena of motorsport, and to round 3 of this Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy. The Super Juniors and Regionals combined, all coming to make up their positions on the grid. Rob, so far it's literally been a 3-horse race. CJ Hackett, Aiden Lienberg, and of course every now and again you've got Brandon Staffen. But Brandon Staffen's been the most consistent, which is why he leads the championship at the moment. He's only in second on the grid right now, and already at round 3. Speaking to him in Cape Town 2 weeks ago at the Extreme Festival, and here this weekend, looking to consolidate as much as he can because he's already got a really nice lead. And we go to Cape Town up next, so the flag is out, and here we go for the start of the race. Let's see who will get the jump. The revs are up, the clutches are in, and out they go. A good start from Aiden Lienberg. Not a bad start from CJ Hackett as well. He's going to go on the inside, but it looks like Brandon Staffen, as they head into turn 1, gets the whole shot. CJ Hackett climbs into second position there. So Aiden Lienberg, our pole position man, is down there in third place, but already making the move on Hackett and up into second place. Yeah, what a move it was as well. Just bombed him down the inside, but unfortunately ran wide. I kind of thought that might happen, and CJ was able to come back in it. But look at that, side by side and elbow to elbow as they go through turn 3. Incredible stuff out of those two riders. But Staffen has got the drop and is now already opening 2-3 bike lengths. As they get onto the back straightaway, we can actually pick them up down that back straightaway, not only on the screen, but also out of our window. And it is an incredible ride out of Lienberg to close that gap down. He was caught napping ever so slightly, made a slight mistake down into turn 2, and now has got it all sorted out. CJ Hackett's right there with him, though. Yeah, Hackett's going to look for a move on the brakes at the top of the hill. He's in the slipstream, but Lienberg a little bit later on the brakes, so unfortunately not making the move there. It is still that man, Brandon Staffen, out front, but Lienberg, after not the greatest start, is now closing that gap, holding a much tighter line there than Brandon Staffen, so able to get on the gas a little bit earlier. So Lienberg definitely a man on the mission. He wants to get out front and maybe try and pull away from the rest of the field, but I mean, really impressed with CJ Hackett, hanging in there with the top 3, and like you said before the race, these really are the 3 men that have lit up the series so far. Yeah, getting away from it. Oh, CJ comes alongside him, has a look as they go across the line, and as they go down into turn number 1, absolutely flat out stuff. With these bikes, particularly yesterday, I don't know if you were watching, Rob. Yeah. I know we were watching when Zen was riding, but these guys hardly roll off at all for turn 1. It's amazing. They're just flat pins, and Lienberg's made the move again, but runs wide again, and not much heat out on the track offline. So CJ Hackett on the inside again, and look at this handlebar bashing already. It's the first race of the day. Yeah, we've only done 1 lap of it as well. Nothing wrong with that. That's exactly what Diode SuperGP Champions Trophy is all about. Up the top of the hill, heads up as we see Dominic Doyle starting to put a bit of pressure on. And incredibly, not what I expected. I expected Tyrese Robert to be there. It's not Tyrese, it's actually Jared Schultz, the other Cape Town man. Carl Schultz is on the wall. He'll be out a little bit later on, of course, in the Bots and Masters. But his youngster is flying the flag high here and is one of the top 5 from Cape Town. Yeah, we expect a little bit more from the likes of Tyrese Robert and indeed Chase Holscher. So maybe just not getting used to the conditions just yet, but watch out for later in the day, race number 2. Maybe you can find 1 or 2 clicks on the setup there, and they'll be a bit further up in the field. But out front, Brandon Staffen doing a great job at leading this race at the moment. But Lienberg and CJ Hackett are dicing a bit too much. They maybe need to settle into a rhythm and chase after the Cape Town man. But they're pulled away from the rest of the field. But like you said, that battle for 4th position, Dominic Doyle and Gerald Schultz, this is the best performance we've seen out of the Cape Town man so far. Yeah, 1:13.4. That's only on the second lap of asking. That's pretty tasty stuff coming out of Brandon Staffen. But unfortunately runs wide. Oh, opens up the door, and we've got a change in the lead. Second place is now Brandon Staffen. First place, Aiden Lienberg. So Lienberg doing a great job there for his Furcore Racing team. And as they come onto the back straight, oh, it is going to be side by side between these two down that back straight away. Staffen is going to have to go around the long way, but here comes CJ on the inside. Whoa, here we go, 3 by 3. And look at that, around the outside. That was a brave move by Staffen on the brakes. Turn 4, you can do that there because you've got a lot of room to play with on these RC390s. But Lienberg at the top of the hill is in the slipstream. I don't think he's going to have it on the brakes. Staffen, oh, as I say that, what does Lienberg do? Bounces on the inside, and CJ Hackett, unfortunately, running a little bit wide, so he's lost the toe. But out front is Lienberg at the moment, so Staffen, but CJ Hackett, that's a big mistake from him because losing that toe on these RC390s around this track is oh so crucial. Was it a bit of sort of bike watching there, I think, Rob? Because as they went in there, he kind of got caught out by the maneuver, and it just forced him a little bit wide, and that's all you need to lose 10 bike lengths. In fact, it's gone up to 20 bike lengths across the line. So CJ with a big maneuver and a big mistake at the top of the hill, and it's cost him 1.6 seconds.
Looks like Brandon Stephanie's run wide into turn 1. He's trying to close and hold onto the man out front now, Aiden Liebenberg. So really pushing hard is the Cape Town man. He's going to try and get the drive and get into the slipstream, but he's losing that slipstream. And that slipstream toe here as well is so crucial, especially down the back straight here. So we're going to have to wait and see if Brandon Stephanie has got the pace. But Liebenberg stamping his authority at a 12.9 last time out. So
That's
they're breaking into the 12s. I think he's the first rider this weekend so far in the practice and the racing so far to break that.
And let me tell you something, he's pushing that hard that he's actually starting to slip off the bike almost completely. You saw his foot off the peg there, heading up through turn 4 and now into turn 5.
That's allowed Stefan.
Yeah, Stefan up the inside. Can he get out on the brakes though? No! How does Liebenberg brake that much later? He's literally waiting until just past the 25-meter marker before he climbs on the anchors, and he's able to make it stop.
And what he's doing is he's braking and he's closing the line on Stefan. So Stefan's forced to either pull out of the move, or if he's going to go for it, it's going to be handlebar touching, no doubt. But Liebenberg, like you said, he's so late on the brakes, gets the bike turned and closes that line. So Stefan's really got to maybe just sit there, watch where Liebenberg is strong and where he's not, and try and pounce. But we've seen it so many times this year. Liebenberg, for the young age that he is such a crafty racer.
Yeah, incredible riding here. These guys, as we've seen all season long and last season, as they started to get to grips with this brand new formula. This is only the second season of its running in the SuperGP Champions Trophy. The Super Juniors, some of the best racing we see comes out of this class, particularly when they are that close. They've started to open up a little bit of a margin now, and the way that Liebenberg is going, he certainly has got something up his sleeve here.
And remember, Liebenberg lost out at the first run at Red Star in the points department. That's pretty much where Brandon Stefan got the championship lead. He got the 50 points at Red Star, didn't have the greatest of pieces, and now it's all, like you said earlier on, consolidate points going into Cape Town, where we know he's going to be fast.
And let me tell you how fast he is. Whew. I was down there a couple of weekends ago, and on a little 400cc machine that they got to play with in their local category, the Mike Hopkins series, he is lightning bolt quick. So he is going to be a definite factor to be taken into account when we get down to the Mother City at the next round. So sitting in second place right now is not a bad option for him. Jared Schultz has moved up one position, got ahead of Dominic Doyle. Nice little battle between the two of them. There's only 0.3 of a second between that fourth and fifth place battle. And unfortunately, CJ's mistake has been incredibly bad for him. He's now dropped almost 3 seconds back from the two leaders.
That's what happens in this class. When you get into that no man's land, you lose that toe, you lose your brake markers, you lose the slipstream. It really is tough to do that. But behind Dominic Doyle and Jared Schultz, we've got Luca Coccioni and Tyrese Robert in a good battle. Chase Holscher just behind them, so he needs to just try and stick in 1 or 2 fast laps, maybe in the low 115s to get onto the back of them. But out front, it is still Aiden Liebenberg at 12.8. But look at that. Brandon Stefan responds at 12.7. And look at this. He's on the inside going into turn 4 on the brakes. Will he do it? He does it this time. That's what he needs to do. He needs to disrupt Aiden Liebenberg's race. And this is exactly what he needs to do. Get out front and make Liebenberg work for this win.
Yeah, just interrupt the rhythm he was getting into. That's exactly the point I was about to make. They're starting to get into that rhythm now, and that's why Liebenberg was pulling a little bit of a margin. Now it's changed up. Staffen said, no, I'm not going to let you have this all your own way. I'm going to throw a wheel in. I'm going to make sure that you're looking behind you at every single opportunity to see that I'm actually still in this hunt.
Because Aiden Liebenberg, we've seen it so many times. When he gets clean air out in front, he's gone. So Brandon Stefan, this is a clever race from him. I'm going to disrupt your race. And he's picked up the pace because Stefan has been nowhere near breaking the 13s the whole weekend so far. And a 12.7 last time out. But again, picking up that slipstream, looking at Liebenberg's brake markers, that I cannot tell you how important it is. And unfortunately, CJ Hackford, like we said, has lost that toe.
So the battle literally is going to be between these two to the line. We've got 6 laps completed, and this is really going to be tight stuff between these guys. Looking down at pit wall, there's a bit of concern coming out of Tyrese Robert, Craig Robert's dad, Craig Robert, Tyrese's dad, I should say. Get my teeth in properly there. And that's due to the fact that we know that Tyrese can run the 12s and 13s easily. Unfortunately, I think, as you picked up at the beginning of the race, potentially tyre pressures might be an issue here, and they might have not gone with the right tyre pressure. Maybe they changed the settings slightly. Yesterday was very hot. Today is extremely cold. So a lot of guys will tinker around a bit, and it might have gone the wrong way.
Yeah, on these bikes, 0.1 can make such a big difference. And one click here and there can make such a big difference. So a little bit of work to do there for the likes of Chase Holscher, Tyrese Robert, and Coccioni. Dominic Doyle running in 5th position, not where he wants to be, but probably the happiest man in the field at the moment is Jared Schultz. And the Cape Town boys are showing the local guys here how it's done around Zwartkops.
Top quality run here from Jared Schultz. Remember that throughout the day, you're going to be hearing us talking about the modal rider of the day. So keep that in mind. Jared Schultz so far, if we had to go on today's performance, if this was the only race, he would certainly be penciled in.
And look, that man out front, Brandon Staff, he's doing a good job now. It looks like Liebenberg just sat there and said, right, I can't pull away from you, so I'm going to watch you now. And we know Liebenberg can pounce at any time he wants. So he's going to sit there. It's pointless leading. He tried leading out front, didn't pull the gap. In fact, Brandon Stefan actually put in the fastest lap of the race last time out, 12.7 dead. So Liebenberg just sitting there now. Doesn't look like his bike's got quite the legs that Brandon Steffens does down the straight. So that slipstream is oh so crucial now.
I'm loving the fact that he's just sitting there, though. He is now playing the role of a man who thinks he's got what it takes to win this race. And that's exactly what we see in all forms of two-wheeled sport. If you've got the ability, you'll normally just let the rider in front of you ride if it's a good enough pace. Both of them in the 12s. He's happy with that pace. He's now happy to sit there in second place and wait. And that's exactly what Liebenberg is incredibly good at. He will wait until that last second, pounce and destroy your weekend.
Just looking at CJ Hackett in third place, his best time of the race so far, 13 dead, so he's found something just starting to come in, but still 0.1, 0.2 off the leaders, and that was that gap that we saw earlier. If he was on to these guys, if he didn't make that mistake earlier, he could be running the 12s that the guys are out front. But at the moment, he's in a lonely third position at the moment. Dominic Doyle has got back up into fourth position ahead of Jared Schultz, but Brandon Staffon's still the man out front as they go into turn one. Hard on the brakes now for turn two, down into second gear, and it's all about the drive, because this drive that you get out of turn two is going to carry you all the way down the long back straight.
And up to the top of the hill.
And the top of the hill.
Literally, you're just going to give it a little shut off into four and up to the top of the hill and give it everything she's got. So here they go onto that back straightaway now. Absolutely everything she's got. Staffen actually got much better drive, but as I say that, Liebenberg comes back in. So it seems like the late apex out of turn two is a great place to be, and that's why, because you can get to the lead through turn four.
It just shows you how crucial the drive is out of turn two, because Liebenberg got the drive and he carried it all the way up straight, got in the slipstream, and look at this now. That Brandon Staffen has squared the turn up. Liebenberg ran a little bit wide. That allowed Staffen on the inside, and we have another lead change. So far in this race, the lead must have changed about 15, 20 times.
I'm going to say 50, 20 times just in that lap. And there's only 8 corners, so how they did that, I have no idea. But we're not going to spoil the story with the facts, as we always do. Here we go, down into the final turn. Hard on the brakes, looking for opportunities now. Remember, this is coming down to the wire stuff here. And I think Brandon Staffen has got this pretty much matched and marked. However, Liebenberg, as we know, as I mentioned earlier on, he has an ability, and it really is a great ability for a young rider and someone that has just the amount of experience that he's got. Just find that little bit extra on the crucial part of the race to take the win away from you.
This is a good thing for the Pirelli tires, because the leading two men are running in the high 112s every lap so far. So that really is just a testament to how good the Pirelli tires are around the Zwartkops racetrack, and the likes of Cameron Hackett, who has now also broken into the 12s at 12.9. So just showing you that the riders are getting used to the conditions, the track's getting more heat into it, the tires are getting more heat. So we're going to see, I think, even faster lap times, and Aiden Liebenberg is on the limit because the foot was off the peg there into turn four.
It's about the third or fourth time I've seen that. It can be a bit of a problem if you get it a little bit too wrong. You might end up having to pick yourself up with your right knee if that's the case. But didn't affect him too badly. He still stays right in contention there. As Staffon's, he just sits that bike up and gets a drive, doing that little short straight between 5 and 6. Into the left-hander now for 7. Down the hill towards 8. These two have got away. CJ Hackett will be happy to stay in third place. He'll still be getting some good points, and he has got about a 6-second lead over Dominic Doyle, who's fighting still with Jared Schultz. Schultz and Doyle changing up once again for 4 and 5.
Right, as we're heading to the closing stages now, it's really all about tactics. What is Aiden Liebenberg going to do with 2 laps remaining? Is he going to sit there and make the move? We've seen he's got the pace, and he knows he can do it on the brakes wherever he wants. He's having a dive on the inside into turn 2, but he's not made it stick. Brandon Staffen now doing the tactics of braking late and closing the corner, not allowing the rider behind to make the move.
And also not to get the drive. Because remember, you're setting yourself up to get that drive, the door's shut in your face, all of a sudden you've got to sit up and
roll the gas off.
Yeah, you've rolled off. So you can't carry the same corner speed, you won't get the same drive, and there you can see it. Prime example, the last time we went through here, it was an opportunity into turn 4 where they are right now, which Liebenberg was able to use and get past. This time, because the door was shut on him, he was able to do it.
Right, I've got exactly 7 Rand in my pocket.
Okay.
I'm going to put 7 Rand down that Liebenberg is going to do it either at the top of the hill, which he's doing right now. There's my 7 Rand.
Well
what
played.
a great bet. 7 Rand has just been doubled, but Staffen squares it up and he's back on the inside. So Liebenberg, he can do it on the brakes, but he's running wide. So he's going to have to think about that. Maybe that was a dress rehearsal for into the final lap, which we're going on to right now.
Yeah, we've got 1 corner and 1 lap to go as they come down into the final turn. Yeah, Zwartkops hard on the brakes. Pitch it onto the left-hand side, carry that corner speed as much as possible. Staffen, I can't believe how he just rolls it on almost instantaneously. Doesn't even have to worry about standing the bike up. He's already rolling it up while it's still banked in there. And he's hanging on now for one more lap. Can he keep it all together and keep out Aiden Liebenberg?
And remember, there's no traction control, wheelie control, launch control, nothing on these little bikes. It's all about those riders out there doing a throttle. So when you see Brandon Stefan giving it a handful,
mistake from
there we go.
Liebenberg. That's enough.
He's lost the drive, but he can still gain a little bit here. We've seen turn 4, he carries an immense amount of speed, but he's really going to have to pull his finger out now because he's got 3 or 4 bike lengths to make up on Stefan.
He'll make it up, but I don't think he'll get past, Rob. You'll see he'll close up here through 4. He's very good through there, and now as they head to the top of the hill, probably will get into that slipstream, but won't be able to use the slipstream to get past.
Here we go. They go to the top of the hill, and Liebenberg hasn't managed to make that gap close, but now we're going to have to wait. Stefan doesn't know that he's lost that, so he might go defensive at the top of the hill, which will cost him a little bit of time, but he's late on the brakes, and Liebenberg does close the gap a little bit, but Stefan's still got enough of a margin. I don't think Liebenberg's got enough.
No, it's all done and dusted. 2 corners to go through the left-hander. Checkered flag is standing by, and it's going to be race number 1 victory to Brandon Stefan as he comes down onto the braking markers for the final time. Brandon Stefan doing it to perfection. Aiden Liebenberg, the mistake in turn 2 has cost him, and he would have possibly had a chance of taking the victory, but he's now going to have to settle for second. He sits up over the line. He knows he made the mistake, and he knows just how vital that mistake is. Brandon Stefan, your championship leader, takes another full set of points out of this race.
And there we go. CJ Hacker picks up 3rd at Jared Schultz. We've got to be a contender for Motor Rider of the Day in 4th place, just ahead of Dominic Doyle. He won't be too happy with that. We're going to have to wait and see who gets the better in 6th position of Tyrese Robert and Luca Coccioni. It looks like it's going to be Tyrese Robert, just followed by Luca Coccioni and Chase Holscher just further behind him, actually putting his fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, a 15.2. So definitely getting a little bit more out of that KTM RC390 in the later stages, but still some work to do there for the likes of Tyrese Robert, Coccioni and Chase Holscher. But down in the park Ferme, Brandon Stefan gets a hug from his dad. Really a great ride there. Greg Maloney is down there. He will be chatting to our top 3 very, very shortly. And then we'll have the podium ceremonies for the first race of the day, the KTM RC390 Juniors.
All right, so our first race of the day in the bag, and what a great race it was. We're going to get the top 3 onto the podium. Incredible stuff coming out of these guys. Are really going to be seeing some more of this, I think, in race number 2 as things start to heat up on the track, as well as in terms of the ambient temperature. But getting them up onto the podium for the first race of the day in 3rd place. A little bit of clutch issues there by the looks of things. Let's get him up there. CJ Hackett. Second place, and a small but vital mistake in turn 2. A little bit of a tuck on the front end there, but incredible ride nonetheless from our pole man, Aiden Liebenberg. And race 1 winner, incredible ride from the Cape Town man, and maintaining his lead in this championship. Up you go, Brandon Stefan. Mr. Tim Cook is going to hand out 3rd place trophy. That goes to CJ Hackett. He'll be happy with that. And high fives all around. 2nd place, Mr. Stephen Watson from Gas Sports. It looks like they're going to be swapping things out there a little bit. They were expecting Leon to come up and help them there. Well done, guys. And 1st place there to Brandon Stefan. There it is, folks, your first podium of the day. Let's give him a big round of applause. Let's have a quick chat to these guys.
I'd like to dedicate my race to Anthony Shelley, and well done to the other riders for everything, and it was a great race.
If you get that clutch sorted, you're going to be able to get back and going.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you so much, Siege. We'll catch you later on, hopefully back up a little bit higher on the podium. Let's get Aiden down here. And it went all according to plan with the pole position this morning, but unfortunately a little bit of chopping and changing between the 2 of you, and a very vital mistake down in turn 2 on that last lap.
Yeah, I almost stuck for front in turn 2, but still race 2, I'll try to get the win. Well done to Brandon, he rode really well, and just thanks to Focal Construction.
Awesome stuff, well done. Come on down here, Mr. Winner of race number 1. Sure. The little bit of practice you got a couple of weeks ago down at the hometown seems to be paying off, and I think the championship lead and consolidation is what you're looking at right now.
Yeah, I didn't have much practice, but wow, what a race. The bike had to be redone, and then after my exploration at Pekisa. But I just want to say thanks to everyone, and this one was for Anthony Shelley.
Brilliant stuff. You think you're able to do the double for the day?
I'm going to try my hardest. I mean, Aiden is on top form, and it was just unlucky about turn 2, but it was a really, really close race.
Keep an eye. Jared Schultz just sneaks around the outside. What a ride there from the youngster. Up into 4th place. Schultz with a super start. And outguns both Tyrese and looks like Dominic Doyle.
Look at CJ up into 2nd position. He knows he wants to lead out. He wants to get right on the tail of Liebenberg. He had the pace in race number 1, but he made a big mistake in the early parts of the race and lost that toe and had to settle for a pretty lonely 3rd. But Stefan trying to go on the curb on the inside. But look at CJ Hackett. He's in the slipstream now. He's going to pull out. He's going to try and make the move on the brakes. I don't think he's going to make it happen. Liebenberg's very late on the brakes. Stefan right up there. So this is exactly what CJ Hackett wanted. He wants to be in the slipstream of the top 3 and he wants to go for that win.
Yeah, you probably didn't hear in the commentary a little bit earlier on, standing down there getting the lunch. CJ Hackett actually picked up a clutch problem. The clutch broke completely.
Look at Stefan on the inside of both.
Bangs it up and gets through on both of them. Forces Liebenberg wide. Can he come back at him? Liebenberg comes around the outside into turn 6. Out of the Diode section and just keeps Stefan out. But Stefan had a big look there and forced both CJ and Liebenberg wide. Nearly got from 3rd to 1st.
And look at that, Jared Schultz right on the tail of our leading 3. So good start for him. But Liebenberg, as we come across the line for the very first time, Stefan way out wide on the rumble strip. That's allowed CJ Hackett back on the inside, but Stefan's elbowing him out of the way. And that was so close going into turn 1. Brandon Stefan, one of the latest breakers, one of the hardest chargers in this class. And CJ Hackett now has been demoted to 3, but Liebenberg is trying to stretch out that lead. You can see a lot more tentative going into turn number 2 after his struggles in the earlier races today in the 250 Cup. We saw him crash out in a comfortable lead there in turn 2 and pretty much lost the race win in race number 1 in this category because of turn number 2.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be almost a 4-way battle. Jared Schultz can just bridge that gap, and he's not too far off it. Stefan on the inside. Oh, he comes back at him. Look at this. 3 by 3, they go through turn 4. Absolutely side by side, now heading to the top of the hill. Look out for CJ Hackett. He got the best drive. Can he get him on the brakes? Liebenberg, very good on the brakes, but it's CJ on his inside, and he
CJ
goes.
on the inside.
Wow, how did he just let those brakes go and rail through? Runs wide. Thought that might happen. He's now on the outside line of turn 6, but into 7 he'll be on the inside line, which means he's lining himself up for overtaking maneuver down into turn 8 now. Heading into NGL Logistics. Quinton, you must be losing your mind because you've had so much action down there. CJ into the lead.
Can you believe CJ Hackett looks so determined? He wants to get out front. He does not want to battle with these guys. Runs a little bit wide. Stefan's going to come back on the inside. Liebenberg's also trying. Jared Schultz is rubbing his hands because he's in 4th place. He's saying, guys, you keep doing what you're doing because if you make one mistake, I'm there to pounce. But look how close the field is. Even Dominic Doyle and Tyrese Robert a lot closer than they were in race number 1.
Yeah,
and I think it's a change of the conditions.
Look at the Dominic Doyle's lap time as well. Fastest lap of that second lap of the race, 13.8, as opposed to the 14s and 13.9s coming from the riders ahead of him. So Doyle all of a sudden is there on the 26, looking tasty and a lot better than what he did in race number 1.
CJ's got the drive, but Stefan, last of the late breakers, doesn't make the move. CJ's going to now pull in, get the drive up the hill. Aiden Liebenberg right in his slipstream, so it's really a slipstream battle as they go up the hill, and who is going to be the latest of the last breakers. Hackett made the move there earlier on in the lap, and look at Liebenberg here. CJ Hackett around the outside and Liebenberg on the inside of both of them, runs wide, and Stefan's going to square it up and keeps the lead. But how was it? Stefan had Liebenberg and CJ Hackett either side of him and just stayed in the middle.
And now they've got Jared Schultz in there as well, so it's a 4-way battle for the lead of this race. Schultz is right there, coming along for the right, just behind him, Dominic Doyle. He's just got about 3 or 4 bike lengths to make up. Onto the braking markers, down into the final turn, and it is Stefan that crosses the line once again in the lead. Ahead of Aiden Liebenberg, Cameron Hackett, Jared Schultz, Tyrese Robert. That's how quickly they go across the line. You can't even commentate to how close these guys are. There is 1.1 seconds between 1st and 6th place on the road.
Much better ride from Tyrese Robert. This is what I expect from the young man. Dominic Doyle just dropping off a little bit, so he's going to try and get that toe once again to get himself back up on the back wheel of Tyrese Robert to challenge for the top 4. Jared Schultz, what a ride. It just shows you how crucial the slipstream of being in that lead pack is, because Schultz lost a toe early on and Hackett in the race number 1. They're right there now, and now it's a 4-way battle for the lead.
Jazz is not going to let these guys get away. He's certainly looking a lot more dangerous, and probably had a chat to his Cape Town rival and good friend Brandon Stefan and said, listen, how do we get this bike to go a bit quicker? What can I do? Whatever he's done, it's worked. Carl Schultz and the team have done a great job to give him a chance of getting onto the podium here. If he gets onto the podium, he also gets his name penciled in for that Motul Rider of the Day.
We're going to need a lot more awards from Mark Roach from AMP. I think for that modal rider of the day, because we literally have a hat full of riders that can easily take that award today. But Stefan starting to pull out a little bit of a gap, and Liebenberg recognized that, and he's got past CJ Hackett up into second, and he's now chasing down the man from Cape Town. But Hackett, he's trying to do everything he can to stay there, as is Schultz, Tyrese Robert as well, just trying everything they have, pulling out all the tricks, pulling out all the stops to stay with that top 3 to hopefully on the last couple of laps be in the mix for a podium finish.
So Jared Schultz has just lost that little bit of an edge, and you don't want to do that, because if you just lose 2-3 bike lengths, that's it, they'll get away, especially with the kind of pace that these guys are running at the front. Look at that last lap time, a 12.965 coming out of Brandon Staffen. That is one of the fastest laps we've seen around Zwartkops on a 390.
As we come down the back straight now, it's all about slipstream, and Hackett sitting there. You can see the top 3 have definitely pulled away now from Jared Schultz in 4th. He's lost that toe, but CJ Hackett is there. That's exactly where he wants to be. He gets such amazing drive going up the hill. He pulls alongside Liebenberg, and he's going to get on the brakes surely. Yep, he's already made the pass before they even get to the brake marker. So up into second place for CJ, and they're closing down now on the man out front, and that's Brandon Staffen. Run a little bit wide, does CJ Hackett, but he manages to bring it back. He can do it there. He hugs the right hander here now, and he's going to flick it flat out in the left hander on these RC390s, down back into second gear and flat out onto the main straight for yet another lap, with 7 laps to go after this.
Great riding here from these youngsters. They're not holding anything back. Great to see that with a clutch, CJ Hackett can run with these front end, and certainly giving them a very good run for their money as they go into turn 1. Flick it over onto the left-hand side. CJ rails through turn 1, a little bit better than Liebenberg is able to do. And Liebenberg lost a little bit of ground there, but makes it up under braking out into Pirelli corner. Turn 2 here at Zwartkops today. Runs wide. CJ opens up the door, and Liebenberg will pounce at that opportunity. I don't know if he's going to get the best drive because he was on the slightly tighter line, so couldn't quite rail that corner like he'd like to. And yes, he has lost out a little bit there, but now into the clutches and into the slipstream, more importantly.
And Steffen's doing exactly what he did in race number 1. He's keeping himself out front. If he gets past, he passes straight back. He knows that the best way to maintain a race is out front. CJ Hackett coming under increasing pressure now from Liebenberg, who's very tentative going into turn number 2, and we can understand that for the problems that he's had there today so far. On the brakes at the top of the shaft, Hackett nearly runs into the back of Steffen, so he has to sit up. That's going to allow Liebenberg on the inside. He can't take advantage, so still very much Brandon Staffen out front controlling this race, but CJ Hackett not afraid to make a pass, and that's what he needs to do.
He's got to get through there. He's got to put a little pass in. He's got to put the pressure back onto Brandon Staffen. Staffen soaking it up at the front end with no worries at all. On the last time, it was Cameron Hackett with a 12.5. This time across the line, let's have a look. 12.8 coming out of the leader, 13 dead out of Hackett. 12.9 was the fastest of that front, and you can see why Liebenberg is able to sneak up the inside. He got the slight edge over those 2 riders, but not quite quick enough yet to get to the front end and take the lead.
Oh, Liebenberg and CJ Hackett are literally glued together. Liebenberg went on the inside into turn 1, but Hackett just leant all the way around, and you can do that if you've got a little bit of space to play with it in turn number 1, and then it lines you up on the inside for turn 2. So Hackett holding the line there, but while they're doing this, Brandon Staffen still slightly quicker, 0.2 last lap. So he's got that couple of bike lengths. So the 2 behind really do need to settle into a pace and go after Staffen and then sort themselves out maybe in the last lap or so.
Oh, running ever so slightly wide on a turn 4. He's able to set the bike up and try and get the drive up to the top of the hill. Under braking, Liebenberg on the inside of Hackett. Hackett opens the door, lets him through this time, but I don't think he'll do that a little bit later on. Particularly on that final lap, he's going to keep that door firmly shut. But he's allowed Liebenberg through for now into second, and maybe he sees an opportunity to follow Liebenberg to close in on Staffen.
One of our motor of the day riders is definitely Jared Schultz, and he's in a comfortable 4th position now. So the best weekend we've seen out of him in the RC390 Cup so far. Staffen definitely loses out a little bit in the final section of the lap, because this is where Liebenberg especially comes so fast. The last turn, turn 1, and then turn 2 is where Liebenberg does suffer. But at the top end of the track is where Liebenberg's got the pace. And Staffen now hard on the brakes for turn number 2. This is where Liebenberg... Oh, Hackett's made the mistake again, as he did in race number 1. He just ran onto the dirty part of the track and doesn't have the drive, and he's lost that toe again. Maybe those clutch problems haven't been resolved.
Hopefully the clutch hasn't broken. He can still try and make it back to those 3. Didn't lose too much. He was fastest on that last lap. Sorry, he was second fastest because a little bit of a change up there as the timing monitor sorts itself out. Aiden Liebenberg was quickest on that lap. That's why he's able to close that gap down between himself and Staffen. And Staffen, if he looks back now, will realize he's in for a run on these last 4.5 laps.
Hackett definitely does seem to be struggling to pull the bike onto the tighter line. You saw him in turn 4 again, out on the dirty part of the track, and there's no traction there, especially on these little Pirelli tires. So Hackett's maybe going to have to try and just force the bike into the apex a little bit more. Schultz doing a great job there in fourth still, but Stefan out front, a little bit wide in the right-hander. That's allowed Liebenberg right onto his tail, and this is where Liebenberg really comes to his own on the lap. He put a 12.3 in last time, the fastest lap time of the race. We're going to come across the line now with 4 laps remaining, and that man Liebenberg is really on a charge. Fastest lap again, out that lap over the 2 that he's dicing with.
12.5 coming from Liebenberg, 12.6 out of Stafford, so only a 10th between it, but the 10th makes enough for him to have a look on the inside into 2. Wow, had a big look, but didn't quite cement that maneuver. Had other options to worry about. I think it was due to the fact that he was down in turn 2, and maybe that's become a little bit of an issue for him. He has to just get over that hurdle and brush off anything that's happened over the last 2 races.
100%. And CJ Hackett, what he's got to do now is keep himself in the game as Liebenberg makes the move on the inside going into turn 4. He might run a little bit wide, and Staffan's got the drive and he's going to make the pass back up the hill. But what Hackett has to do is he's got to keep himself in the mix, because if any mistake from the 2 out front, he needs to be there to pounce. And there we go, Brandon Staffan back on the inside at the top of the hill. He almost cuts across Liebenberg, forcing the other rider just to back off a bit and not make the move back past. So good riding there from Staffan. You can see he gets up, if he gets past, he makes sure he passes straight back. Kind of like Brad Binder in Qatar, made sure he got out front. And if you get past, the best thing to do is pass straight back and keep yourself at the front.
Nice ride here from Staffan, and of course he is just going on the defensive every opportunity he has, not giving Liebenberg any room to play. Excuse me, across the line and into turn 1 once again. Staffan now hanging on. Liebenberg is looking very dangerous. He comes up on the inside into turn 2. Could this be where he just sorts out that guru off his back? Not yet. Had a big look, much smoother through there than he was on the last couple of laps. So maybe he has shaken that little monkey off the back and doesn't worry about turn 2 anymore. He doesn't have to worry about CJ. CJ's fallen about 2 seconds back there. And so 1 and 2 is where this battle is. No worries whatsoever for anybody else. They're all currently sort of evenly matched and evenly spread. There is a little bit of a tighter battle there with Schultz, Rees and Dominic Doyle, but it's exactly what we saw in race number 1, and eventually Schultz winning that one out.
On board there with CJ Hack, and you can see he's just lost that toe, so really is a 3rd place again for the man. As Liebenberg at the top of the hill on the brakes, goes on the inside, and Staffan brings it a bit tighter. So will he go on the inside? No, Liebenberg closes the line. Oh, and so Staffan has to settle for 2nd for now as they flick it left down the hill. Liebenberg is leading it out at the moment. When they come across the line now, 2 laps remaining. So Liebenberg's, I think his race tactics now, get out front, try and stick in a low 12 and pull away from Staffan.
Just get away from Staffan, that's his main plan here. 2 to go. If he can get away on this one, he can then just maybe just ease off slightly and protect that lead for the final lap of the race. But we're looking at very, very small amounts of time left here. Not a lot of kilometers to play with as they come down into turn number 2 again. Pirelli Rubber now looking to just get them through these last couple of Ks. And it looks like Liebenberg might have timed this to perfection. As I say that, Staffan comes back at him, gets slightly better drive through turn 3 and onto the back straight.
Look at the slipstream effect as you come through there on these little RC390s. Slipstream is so crucial. And Staffan around the outside on the brakes. You can see he just closed the door on Aiden Liebenberg. That made Liebenberg have to roll the throttle off, which is going to affect his drive up the hill. So I don't know if he's going to be able to make the move on the brakes. He's pulled up next to Staffan, but Staffan no holds the lead for now as we come into the final stages. When they cross the line, it'll be last lap time. So Liebenberg, I think he got out front, tried to pull the gap. Sees he can't do it on Staffan. His best bet now, sit behind Staffan and maybe do the move here on the last lap.
I'll get up to turn 5 and see if we can pull it off again. Down into turn 8, final corner, NGL Logistics Solutions, and it's Brandon Staffan looking for a double victory. Aiden Liebenberg definitely wants to spoil that. He has to. If he wants to get closer to Staffan in the championship, he must take victories away from him. And that's what he's trying, and he's trying everything he knows.
A 12-1. Look at that. Brandon Staffan last time out, a 12-1. Found 0.3 of a second in that last lap. Liebenberg at 12.5. But look at that. Liebenberg is glued straight to him now on the final lap. This is going to be slipstream. And that lap time from Staffan was because of the slipstream that he got on the previous lap. So Liebenberg going to look to repay the favor as he gets into the slipstream down the back straight. And will he go inside or outside? Looks like Staffan's forced him to the outside, so he can't do it there. So it's going to have to be on the top of the hill on the brakes, where we've seen Liebenberg do it before.
Yeah, he's been the best on the brakes at the top of the hill. Let's see if he can do it now when it counts. Heading up there right now and into the slipstream effect. Here it comes up the hill. Looks like Staffan's got a little bit of an edge. In fact, that might just be enough for Liebenberg not to be able to make this maneuver. He's not going to get close. Yeah, he's not even a bike length. There's a bike length between these two bikes as they come out of there. He closes ever so slightly, hitting into double right-hander at 6 and flicking it over to the left-hand side. Staffan might have just done enough here.
Yeah, Liebenberg's going to try and square it off here now. I don't think he's got enough. He's going to really have to be break and put a line. He's doing it. He's going on the inside. He doesn't quite have enough. Or almost clips the rear end of Staffen, but Staffen's going to pick up the 50 points for the day. Liebenberg, you can see, not a happy man. He knows he's lost 10 points in the championship today over the man from Cape Town, who's going to be delighted with that win. But once again, good, respectful racing from both riders out front, and just proving once again what an amazing category this RC390 Juniors is.
Brilliant stuff there from all the riders. Well done to Cameron Hackett, hanging on for a podium that time. Jared Schultz coming through for 4th place and looking pretty tasty as we head to the podium. I'm going to shoot down there now. Dominic Doyle just behind him, and Tyrese Robert in 6th place. Luca Coccioni, Chase Holcher, and Gareth Gillick, your last man. Let's hear it once again for CJ Hackett. Second place to Aiden Liebenberg, once again onto the 2nd spot, but a great and much improved effort there from his side. And back on top and maintaining his lead in this championship now, heading into his home track round. Brandon Staffen, 1st place. Dave Griffin from Rad going to hand 3rd place to CJ. I'm sure he's very happy with the performance of the bikes, as well as the seniors and juniors. 2nd place, Mr. Tim Cook from Gas Sports will hand that one out. That goes to Aiden Liebenberg. And 1st place to Brandon Staffen, Mrs. Lee Watson will hand that to Brandon. That's a well worth effort all the way from Cape Town and maintaining his lead in the championship. Let's give him a big round of applause, folks, once again. Your Super Juniors from round 3. Let's have a quick chat to each of the riders. CJ, we're going to start with you, big guy. Tried hard, clutch definitely worked better this time, and with the clutch working, it certainly showed that you've got the pace to run with the front.
It was definitely a much better race with the clutch, and I would just like to say thank you for Aiden and Brandon for having such a great race, and I just wanted to say thank you for my sponsor, Fire Equip, for supporting me in this motorsport.
Awesome job. Now we're heading down to Cape Town. You're going to be making your way down there. It's Brandon's home track, so you guys are going to have to try and find something special to beat him.
Yeah, no, it will definitely be hard because I've never ridden there before, but we'll cross fingers and see what happens.
Some stuff, looking forward to that one. Let's move across to Aiden. Aiden pushing hard on a few occasions down there. Looks like turn 2 has been a bit of a nemesis for you today, but you've got that guru off your back because you didn't go down this time. All good, and now looking forward to possibly taking Brandon on at his home track.
Yeah, today didn't go as planned. Brandon rode really well, and well done to him. But I'll try again at Cape Town. I think I'll do well there.
Awesome stuff. We're looking forward to seeing you going well. Much improved ride from you as well. And I think from the team's point of view, it's not a bad effort to say farewell to a very good friend of yours.
Yeah, no, I like to dedicate this day to Anthony Shelley, a good friend of mine. He helped me a lot with my racing. So, yeah.
There we go. Good job. Let's get the man on the top of the step here. Brandon, step in here. It's another 50 points in the bag. Nice weekend for you. But now heading to your home track, I think you're going to be looking to give the fans down there a little bit of payback for all the support they've given you.
Yes, well done to all these people alongside me, CJ and Aiden. They rode brilliantly. I mean, it was winnable by anyone. And yes, I'm going to really try my hardest. But if Aiden's on this form in Cape Town, it's going to be very hard, and CJ as well.
You might have to ask for a little bit of help from a couple of the guys who've really shown something different and something spectacular this weekend. Also from Cape Town, Jared Schultz was right on your guys' tails. So possibly going to have a chat to him and see if you can make it a little bit of hometown heroes working to keep the rest out.
Yeah, no, I'm really, really proud of Jared. He rode exceptionally for someone that's really new to the 390 class. And I'm definitely going to be helping him a lot more around the track.
The SuperGP Champions Trophy is proudly brought to you by Diode and their associate sponsors.